ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। We'll start with Mangalacharan prayers. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। वागीशायस्य वदने लक्ष्मीर्यस्य च वक्षसि यस्यास्ते हृदये संवित् तं नृसिंहमहं भजे। एकेन चक्रमपरेण करेण शङ्खम् अन्येन सिन्धुतनयामबलम्ब्य तिष्ठन् वामेतरेण वरदाभयपद्मचिह्नम् लक्ष्मी नृसिंह मम देहि करावलम्बम्। उग्रं वीरं महाविष्णुं ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखं नृसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्योर्मृत्युं नमाम्यहम्। प्रह्लाद नारद पराशर पुण्डरीक व्यासादि भागवत पुंगव हृन्निवास भक्तानुरक्त परिपालन पारिजात लक्ष्मी नृसिंह मम देहि करावलम्बम्। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकीम्। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय हरे कृष्ण। So we are continuing our narration of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 10, and chapter entitled the Prahlad, the best among the exalted devotees. We are discussing the coronation of Prahlad Maharaj and the events subsequently happened after that. So we have discussed till now how Prahlad Maharaj refuses to take any benedictions. So and the Lord inducing Prahlad Maharaj to take up the kingdom and rule over the Asuras. Thereafter, Lord Brahma performs the coronation ceremony of Prahlad Maharaj, and then Prahlad Maharaj, before that, he asks for a benediction of deliverance of his father. The Lord grants him and assures that 21 of his forefathers were already delivered. And then Lord Brahma prays to the Lord, and the Lord's reply. And Narada Muni, now we are coming into the section where Narada Muni is explaining about who were Jaya Vijay before, who were these Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu before, and what will happen in the future. What has happened after that is also being explained. And then the Falasruti and glorification of the Pandavas. The Falasruti of this narration of discussing about Prahlad Maharaj has been described by Narada Muni, and then he glorifies the Pandavas of being intimately connected to Krishna, and then he discusses about the story of Lord Shiva who conquered Tripurasura. So, going into the section. So, yesterday we discussed verse number 34, where the demigods have returned to their abodes. So, today we are starting with the description of the previous births of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. एवं च पार्षदौ विष्णोः पुत्रत्वं प्रापितौ दितेः हृदि स्थितेन हरिणा वैरभावेन तौ हतौ. So एवं पार्षदौ विष्णोः, they are the associates of the Supreme Lord. Putratvam prapito ditehe, so they were actually born as sons of Diti. Hridisthitena harina vairabhavena, so they actually thought of the Supreme Lord Hari in their hearts as an enemy. Tau hatau, So they were killed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus the associates of Lord Vishnu who had become Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakasipu, the sons of Diti, were both killed. By illusion, they thought that the Supreme Lord, who is situated in everyone's heart, was their enemy. पुनश्च विप्रशापेन राक्षसौ तौ बभूवतुः कुंभकर्णदशग्रीवौ हतौ तौ रामविक्रमैः. Punascha, again, and Punascha, what had happened? Viprashapena, by the curse of the Vipra. Who are the Vipras? The Chatush Kumaras, 4 Kumaras. So they were the sons of Lord Brahma. So they are called Vipra here. Okay. Punascha Viprashapena. So, yeah. They were killed by the Brahmanas. And then what had happened? Rakshasau tau babhuvatahu. Babhuvatuhu. Babhuva means take birth, incarnated. So they incarnated as Rakshasas. Who are those? The Rakshasas? Kumbhakarna Dasagriva. So they are Kumbhakarna and Dasagriva, or Ravana, 10-headed Ravana. Dasagriva, 10 heads. Hatau tau Rama Vikramaihi. They were killed by the prowess of Lord Rama, Lord Ramchandra's power. Kumbhakarna and Ravana were absorbed in Lord Ramchandra. How? Shayanau yudhi nirbhinna hridau Ramashaya Shayakaihi hridayau Ramashayakaihi Tachittau Jahaturdeham Yatha Praktana Janmani. Just Yatha Praktana Janmani. As they had acted in their previous births, Praktani Janmani, what were they doing? Tachitta Jahatur Deham. So what they were doing? Shayanau Yudhi Nirbhinna. So they have lied on the battlefield. Shayanau Yudhi Nirbhinna. Being laid down on the battlefield by whom? Lord Ramachandra. How? Hrudayau Rama Shayakaihi. Shayaka means arrows. So when the arrows of Lord Rama pierced their hearts, and then they laid down on the battlefield, Tachittau refers to thinking of the Supreme Lord in their hearts. Tachittau Jahatur Deham, they have given up their bodies. Yatha, as they had did in their previous lives, as they had been as it had happened in the previous lives, they were thinking of the Supreme Lord while they were killed, being pierced by the arrows of Lord Rama, who stuck into their hearts. They gave up their bodies. Taviha cha punarjatau Shishupalakarushajau Harau Vairanubandhena Pasyataste Samiyatau. Harau Vairanubandhena. Again they took birth. Tav iha atha punarjatau. They again born here. So why it is iha here? Because Narada Muni is referring to the recent births. And where is the talk going on? The talk going on is between Yudhishthira and Narada Muni. And Sisupala, Dantavakra are contemporaries to Yudhishthira. So he is using Tav Itha Aha. Tav itha. Tav iha atha. In this human society, atha, in this way, punaha, again. So he is referring to that. Shishupala Karusha. Shishupala. Shishupala means Shishupala. And who is Karusha? Dantavakra. Dantavakra is also called Karusha. Harau Vairana Bandhena. With enmity to the Supreme Lord. They have maintained their relationship with the Supreme Lord, their bonds with the Supreme Lord in enmity. Vairana Bandhena. Pasyataste Samiyuto. And they are looking upon the Lord as their enemy. And then Samiyutaha. So they were merged. Samiyatuhu. They were merged into the body of the Supreme Lord. So they took birth again in the human society as Shishupala and Dantavakra, and they were being merged into the Supreme Lord, thinking of the Lord as their enemy. Yena purvakrutam yattad rajanah Krishna vairinaha jahustente tad atmanah kitah peshakruto yatha. Now, an analogy is given. Not only Shishupal and Dantavakra and Ravana and Hiranyakashipu, Ravana and Kumbhakarna and Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, everyone who has somehow or other came in contact with Krishna and had feelings of towards the Lord in some way, they have attained the Supreme Lord. They got salvation. Not only Shishupala and Dantavakra, but also many other kings who acted as enemies of Krishna attained salvation at the time of death. Because they thought of the Lord, they received spiritual bodies and forms the same as his. Just as analogy is given. Worms captured by a black drone. Ketaha peshakrutayatha. Kitaha peshakrutayatha. So just as a worm which is captured by a drone actually continuously thinks of him. So then he actually gets a similar body in the next birth as a drone. So here Shishupala and Dantavakra and Ravana and Kumbhakarna, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, they were constantly absorbed in the thoughts of Krishna in enmity while they were dying. So, Lord Krishna promises in Bhagavad Gita, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram. So, with whatever thoughts, whatever memory we die, we will attain that in our next life without doubt. So here, Shishupala and Dantavakra and others, they were thinking of the Supreme Lord constantly in this birth, so they attained the Lord's nature. Now, one may ask, but they were thinking of the like the Lord in enmity, right? Whether that is correct? No, the answer is it is better to think of the Lord in a favorable way. And one more thing here to note is they were in intense absorption of Krishna. Ravana and Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, Hiranyakashipu, Shishupala and others, they were constantly thinking of the Lord. They had no other thought. They were so if someone can become demons of that grade, actually enmity is also okay. But if someone is between, then they may actually glide down to hell. So the safest thing is to think favorably about Krishna. Anukulyena Krishna Anusilana. Rupa Goswami describes devotional service as Anukulyena, the thinking of the Lord in a favorable way. Anya Abhilashita Sunyam. So Anya Abhilasha, what is this Anya Abhilasha? Whichever is a what do you call obstacle is unfavorable to devotional service, one has to give up. Anyabhilashita sunyam. Jnana karmadi anavrutam. So, the devotional service should not be covered by the processes of jnana and karma. So, one should not have fruitive mentality and one should not have desires or liberation. So, what will then what next? Anukulyena Krishnanusilanam. Anukulyena. In a favorable way, one has to do what? Krishna Anusilanam. It's not Silanam. One has to Anusila. Anusila means following in the footsteps of some great devotees. When we do Krishna Bhakti in a favorable way, not contaminated by desires for liberation and fruitive activities, and without any material desires, without any other desires other than to serve the Lord, Anukulyena Krishnanusilana, that bhakti is called Uttama Bhakti. So, we have to think of the Lord in a favorable way. We should not think of the Lord in an unfavorable way. However, the Lord, being kind enough, He gives salvation to those people who have thought of Him constantly in an unfavorable way also. Yatha yatha bhagavato bhaktya paramaya vidha nrupas chaidyadaya satmyam hares tachintaya yayuhu. Yatha yatha bhagavato bhaktya paramaya vidha. By devotional service, the pure devotees who incessantly think of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they receive the similar bodies to the Lord. This is called as Sa-Atmyam or Sarupya Mukti. Although Sishupala and Dantavakra and other kings, they thought of Krishna as their enemy. Nrupas Chaidyadayaha, they were thinking of the Lord as an enemy. They achieved the same result, which was attained by bhaktas who are bhagavatas and who rendered devotional service to the highest level, who were actually constantly thinking of the Supreme Lord always. So there is a here the intensity of absorption of the Lord is taken into consideration. So the devotees are also intensely thinking of the Lord. The demons in enmity are also thinking of the Supreme Lord. So both attain the same destination. So somehow or other, what is that sloka? Whatever. Manah Krishna Niveshayet. So somehow or other one has to actually fix our mind on the Supreme Lord. So then the Supreme Lord will actually bestow His favor. So the killing, and one more thing is, these demons were fortunate enough to be personally killed by the Lord and not through material nature. So the Lord gives a special favor when He incarnates in this material world to deliver the people. Whoever the Lord kills, whoever the Lord, come in contact with the Lord, somehow or other, they will all get delivered. So that is one point to be noted. So better and the safe path is to think of the Lord in a favorable way, not in an unfavorable way. So Srila Prabhupada is saying that Lord says, Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mamed sarjuna. So whoever thinks of the Lord during the time of death, they will attain their destination. So the demons also got the same destination. Madhvacharya also is saying the same thing. Paundrake narake chaiva salve kamse cha rukmini avishtastu harer bhaktas tad bhaktya harim apire. So Paundraka, Narakasura, Salva and Kamsa, they were all inimical toward the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But because all these kings constantly thought of him, they achieved the same liberation, Sarupya Mukti. So this is the same path which is attained by the Jnanis also. So if such demons and the enemies of the Supreme Lord, if they were able to achieve salvation, what to speak of the devotees who are constantly engaged and absorbed in the service of the Lord? They can get a much higher destination. Akhyatam sarvametatte yanmam tvam pariprishtavan tamaghosha sutadinam hare satmyam api dvisham. So, akhyatam sarvametat. I have told all this. Yanmam tvam pariprishtavan. As you have inquired submissively from me, pariprishtavan, yanmam tvam akhyatam. I have told you. Damaghosha sutadina hareha satmyam api visham. How I have described how Shishupal and others, Damaghosha sutadina, they attained salvation, hareha satmyam, although they acted in enmity with the Supreme Lord. Esha Brahmanya Devasya Krishnasya cha Mahatmanaha Avatara Katha Punya Vadho Yatradi Daityayoho. What is the time? So, Esha Brahmanya Devasya. So, Krishna is called Brahmanya Deva. So, Brahmanya Deva means the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is worshipped by all the Brahmanas. So, Krishnasya. Who is that? The Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is worshipped by all the Brahmanas. And he is also Mahatmanaha. He is the Super Soul. Mahatmanaha. He is the Super Soul. Avatara Katha Punya. So, description of the Lord's pastimes is actually the real piety. Vadho yatradi daityayoho. Even though that may be telling of the killing of demons and etc. So, description of the Lord's activities is always purifying. So, the avatars or incarnations are expansions of the Supreme Lord Krishna, Avatara Katha. So here Krishnasya is used. The incarnations are actually coming from Krishna. So who is a Brahmanya Deva? It is to hear about such descriptions is purifying. Like Brahma Samhita says, Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Anantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayavvanam cha Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhakto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So the Lord's forms are non-dual, infallible, and without beginning. Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Anantarupam. They are endless. Adyam, they are original. Purana Purusham, the Lord is the supreme oldest person or the beginningless person. Purana Purusham Navayavvanam cha, but he is ever youthful. Adyam Purana Purusham Navayavvanam cha Vedeshu Durlabham. He is not even obtained by the Vedas easily. Durlabham, rarely obtained. Adurlabham, but he is very easily achieved. By whom? Atma Bhakto, by his own devotees. I offer my respectful obeisances to that Supreme Lord, who is very difficult to obtain by the Vedas, but easily attained by devotional service, and whose forms are all original, endless, and beginningless. So, so these are all avatars described in the authentic scriptures. It is not any concocted incarnations. So one has to hear Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam. So that is actually Punya Shravana Kirtana. So that actually is the real Punya, which brings us to the platform of purity from material contamination. Because Krishna is Bhagavan Swayam. So Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whoever discusses about Krishna or his incarnations actually attains the state of purification. Prahladasyanucharitam Mahabhagavatasya cha bhaktirjnanam viraktischa yatharthyam chasya vaiharehe sargasthiti apyayeshasya gunakarmanuvarnanam paravaresham sthananam kalena vyatayo muhan. So what is described till now is told. This narration describes the characteristics of whom? Of the great and exalted devotee Prahlada. Prahladasya Anucharitam. His staunch devotional service, Bhakti. Prahladasya Anucharitam Mahabhagavata. He is the pure devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mahabhagavatasya cha Bhakti. His Bhakti. And his Jnanam. Bhakti, his perfect knowledge. Jnanam. Virakti, his perfect detachment, is also described. It also describes the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the cause of creation. Sarga sthiti apyaya isasya. He is the Lord. He is the cause of the creation, maintenance, and annihilation. Prahlad Maharaj, in his prayers, has described the transcendental qualities of the Lord. Guna Karma Anuvarnanam. He described the qualities of the Lord, the transcendental qualities of the Lord. And what are those the qualities described by Prahlad Maharaj? How the various abodes of the demigods, demons, regardless of how materially opulent they may be, are destroyed by the mere direction of the Lord. Paravaresham sthananam, para avara isham sthananam kalena vyatayo maha. So they are destroyed by the power of time, however big they may be. So in short, Prahlad Maharaj in his narrations, he described the transcendental qualities of the Lord, and also he described about the futility of material world. Dharmo Bhagavatana cha Bhagavan yena gamyate akhyanesmin samam natam adhyatmikam aseshataha. Saying Dharma Bhagavatanam cha. Bhagavat, the Dharma of the Bhagavatas. So the principles of religion by which one can actually understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are called Bhagavat Dharma. So in this narration, which deals with these principles, this called Dharma, actually transcendence is properly described. So Bhagavan yena gamyate. So the let me see the word meaning. Bhagavan yena gamyate, by which process the Supreme Lord is attained. That dharma, those religious principles, akhyane, are being described asmin here in this narration. Sa amnatam, it is perfectly described. Akhyane in this narration is perfectly described. Sa amnatam adhyatmikam, this transcendence without reservations is described. So through the principles of religion, one can understand the Supreme Brahman and Paramatma. When one is conversant with all these principles, he become a devotee. So, Prahlad Maharaj, the spiritual master in the line of disciplic succession, advised the Bhagavata Dharma and he instructed to his students. So, to understand the science of the Supreme Lord is the real purpose of education through Sravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. So, this narration concerning Prahlad Maharaj and Lord Nrsingadeva, therefore, has properly described the spiritual transcendental subjects. Ya etat punyamakhyanam Vishnor Viryopabramnitam Kirtayet Shraddhaya Srutva Karma Pashay Vimuchyate. So, one who hears and chants about the narration, about this narration, about the omnipotence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, is certainly liberated from material bondage without fail. Karma pasher vimuchyate. He will be liberated from fruitive bondage. How? Kirtayet shraddhaya srutva. One should hear with, one should glorify with shraddha, with faith, and hear with attention. Hearing with attention and faithful faithful oral reception and speaking about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one will attain liberation. Etadya adi purushasya mrugendra leelam daityendra yuthapa vadham prayatah patheta daityatmajasya cha satam pravarasya punyam Srutvanubhava bhayam eti lokam. Saying Prahlad Maharaj was the best among exalted devotees. And anyone who with great attention Shrutva hears this narration concerning the activities of Prahlad Maharaj, Srutva Anubhavam, about what? The killing of the Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakasipu, and the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Nrsingadeva, surely reaches the spiritual world. There is no anxiety. Etad Adi Purushasya Mrugendra Leela. So, the Mrugendra Leela means the lion man pastimes of the Adi Purusha, Supreme Personality of Godhead, as Lord Narahari. If one hears Srutva about those topics of killing who? Daitya Indra. Daityendra is Hiranyakasipu, Yutapa, and his subjects. Vadham, killing of those people. Prayata Patheta, one who actually reads this. Daityatmajasya satam pravarasya punyam. Daityatmajasya. So, Daityatmaja is who? Prahlada. Pravarasya punyam. One who actually thinks about the Supreme Lord in this way, is actually that is called the pious activities. So, one will achieve the spiritual world. There is akuto bhayam. There is no anxiety. Yuyam loke. Now, Yudhishthir may be thinking here that Prahlada is actually directly connected to the Supreme Lord. The Lord has incarnated for him specifically. He was being subject to so many, tribulations. Now, what is me? I am nothing compared to Prahlad Maharaj. I am not such an exalted devotee. So he may be thinking like that. To actually encourage Yudhishthir Maharaj, Narada Muni is saying, Yuyam Nruloke Badabhuri Bhaga Lokam Punana Munayo Bhiyanti Esham Grahana Vasati Sakshat Gudam Param Brahma Manushya Lingam the Manushya Gudam Param Brahma Manushya Lingam. So the Param Brahma is roaming in your house as a human being. Who is that? Krishna. You people, Driloke, in this world, Bata Bhuri Bhaga. In this human society now, you are considered to be the most fortunate. Bata Bhuri Bhaga. You are being extremely fortunate. Lokam Punana Manayo Bhiyanti. Uh, the Supreme Lord, he actually purifies all the worlds, all the planets. So, and Munaya Abhiyanti, the great saintly person, always come to visit your house. Esham Gruham, to your house, Avasati. Why? Why they will come? They will come because Esham Gruham Avasati. In your house, he is residing. Who? The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is residing. Sakshat, the Sakshat Supreme Personality of Godhead is residing in your house as a mere human being. But he is Budham Param Brahma. He is the confidential personality of Godhead. Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan, Purusham Saswatam Divyam, Adidevam Ajam Vibhum. Krishna, Arjuna describes to Krishna before he sees the when he sees the Lord's universal form, that Param Brahma, Param Dhama, you are Param Brahma, you are the supreme transcendence. Param Dhama, you are the supreme abode. So that abode, that Krishna, that supreme personality, what it is, the source of all abodes and all the incarnations, is roaming just like as a human being in your house. So how fortunate you are. So similarly, whoever devotees of the Lord, like Yashoda and Nanda, Devaki, Vasudeva, they are all fortunate, and the wife and his wives are all fortunate to have the association of the Supreme Lord as a human being. Savayam Brahma Mahadvimrugya Kaivalya Nirvana Sukhanubhutihi Priya Surudbha Kalumatuleya Atmarhaniyo Vidikrit Guruscha. So the impersonal Brahman Krishna himself is Krishna himself, because Krishna is the source of the impersonal Brahman. He is the origin of the transcendental bliss sought by a great saintly person. Mahat Vimrugya. And yet he is the supreme person, your most dear friend and constant well-wisher. Priyaha Suhrud Khalu Matuleya, and he is also your maternal uncle and the son of your maternal uncle Matuleya. He is Atma Arhaniyo. He is like your body and soul. He is your like your Atma, which is considered to be body and soul, and he is Arhaniya. He is worshipable also, and he acts as your Vidhikrit, as your servant, and sometimes as your Guruscha, as your master also. That impersonal Brahman who is sought after by great personalities for Kaivalya and Nirvana Sukhanubhuti, that person, he is acting as your friend, your well-wisher, and as your mama ka ladka, is son of your maternal uncle, and he is also acting as a Vidhikrut, as your servant, and his guru also. So how fortunate you are. So why the Lord is doing that? Because the devotee has surrendered. Saradhya Parashada Sevana Sakhya Dautya Veera Sananu Gamanasthavana Pranaman Snigdhe Veera Sananu Gamanasthavana Pranaman. I forgot the third line. Snigdheshu Pandashu Jagat Pranatim Cha Vishnoha. Is saying that Snigdheshu, because the Pandavas were flexible, malleable to the Lord's will. Therefore, the Lord acted as their servant, as their charioteer, Saradhya Parashada. They have acted as their like the Duta, Parashada, their associate, Sevana as a servant, Sakya as their friend, Dautya, he became an envoy, uh, Virasana, he became a night watchman to guard the Pandavas from getting killed, and Virasana Anugamana, and he's always following them, and he's offering the obeisances to Yudhishthira and all. Why? Snigdeshu Pandashu Jagat Pranachincha Vishnoho. So they actually are very flexible, they are very malleable to the Lord's will. When the Lord sees that a devotee is actually malleable, the devotee is ready to do whatever the Lord says, irrespective of whether they like it or not like it, and not understand whether they understand the Lord's will or not. When he sees that actually with faith they are taking shelter of the Supreme Lord and ready to do whatever he says, then the Lord is ready to give himself in any way. So that's being also brought out here. Nayasya sakshat bhava padmajadibi rupam dhiya vastutayo pavarnitam maunena bhaktya pasamena pujitah prasidata mesha satvatam patihi. The Lord is Satvatam Pati, exalted person. Nayasya sakshat bhava padmajadibihi. So this kind of fortune is not even got by Bhava, Lord Shiva, and Padmaja is Lord Brahma, born of the lotus. Rupa and could not properly, so that the Lord who is not describable and not attainable by who? Bhava and Padma. So that Lord, he, the exalted persons is actually became your servant. So may the Lord, who is always worshipped by Sattvatas, the pure devotees, and he is the protector of all the devotees by the great saints who observe vows of Mauna and meditation and devotional service, be pleased with us. Sa esha Bhagavan Rajan Vyatanodvihatam Yasaha Purarudrasya Devasya Mayenananta Mayina. My dear King Yudhishthira, long ago in history, a demon known as Mayadanava, who was very expert in technical knowledge, reduced the reputation of Lord Shiva. In that situation, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, saved him. So Lord, Narada Muni just mentioned that Mayadanava, when he attacked the demigods, we will describe that in the subsequent verses, that Krishna saved Lord Shiva. That much he told. Now, this is the symptom of a devotee. He is attentively hearing. Now, Yudhishthira is asking a question. Kasmin karmani devasya mayohan jagat ishituhu yatha chaupachita kirtihi krishnena anena kathayatam. He is saying, for what reason did Mayadanava vanquish Lord Shiva's reputation? How did Lord Krishna save Lord Shiva and expand his reputation again? Kindly describe these incidents. Sri Narada Uvacha Nirjita Suradevair Yudhyanenopabramhitaihe Mainam Paramacharyam Mayam Saranam Ayayuhu. Saying, now this is leading to the next section, where how Lord Shiva was sought after shelter by the demigods, and what happened later. When the demigods were always powerful by the mercy of the Supreme Lord, fought with the Asuras were defeated. Therefore, they took shelter of Mayadanava, the greatest of demons. So Nirmaya, so what did Mayadanava do? स निर्माय प्रस्थितिस्रो हैमीर रौप्य यसेर विभुः दुर्लक्ष्याप्याय संयोग दुर्वितर्क्य परिच्छदाः ताभिस्ते सेनान्यो लोकान् स्त्रींसेश्वरान् नृप मरन्तो नाशयां चक्रुः पूर्ववैरम् अलक्षिताः. Then Mayadanava, the great leader of the demons, prepared three invisible cities. Sa Nirmaya Purastisro Haimi Rupa Yasir Vibhuhu. So these dwellings resembled the airplanes made of gold, Haimi, silver and iron. And they contained uncommon paraphernalia. So because of these three dwellings, the commanders of the demons remained invisible to the demigods. So they were residing there and they were invisible to the demigods. Taking advantage of this opportunity, because they remained their previous enmity. When demigods were powerful, they subdued the demons. Now the demons attacked the demigods and they tried to vanquish the three worlds, upper, middle and lower planetary systems. Tataste Seswara Loka, Upasadhyeswaram Nataha Trahinastavakan Deva Vinashtam Tripuralayaihi. Thereafter, when the demons had begun to destroy the higher planetary systems, the three worlds, the rulers of those planets went to Lord Shiva. Upasadya Iswaram Nataha. They fully surrendered. Nataha. They fully surrendered to the Supreme Lord. Trahi. They said, please protect us. We don't have. We are your followers. We the demigods living in the three worlds were about to be vanquished. Vinashtam. Kindly save us. Athanugruhya Bhagavan Mavhaishteti Suran Vibhuhu Charam Dhanusi Sandhaya Pureshwastram Vyamunchata. Lord Shiva says that Mavheshti, don't be afraid, I will take care. He then fixed his arrows onto his bow and released them towards the three residences occupied by the demons. Tato Agnivarna Ishava Utpetu Surya Mandala Yatha Mayukha Sandoha Nadrisyanta Purayataha. The arrows released by Shiva, Lord Shiva, they appeared like fiery beams emanating from the sun globe and covered the three airplanes, like which appear to be like gold, silver, and iron, which can no longer be seen. Tais prishta vyasavah sarve nipetu sma puraukashaha tan aniya mahayogi maya kupera sekshipat. So attacked by Lord Shiva's golden arrows, all the demons in the residences, they lost their lives and they fell down. Then what did Mayadanava do? Kupe rase akshipat. He dropped them in the well of nectar, and then they all got recreated. Then again they came back to life. Siddhamrita rasasprashta vajrasara mahaujasaha uttastur meghadarana vaidyuta iva vahnayaha. So when the dead bodies of the demons were dipped in that nectar, their bodies became invincible to the thunderbolts. Vajrasara Mahojasaha. They became invincible even to the thunderbolts. Endowed with great strength, they got up like lightning, penetrating the clouds. Vilokya Bhagna Sankalpam Vimanaksham Vishat Bhajam Tadayam Bhagavan Vishnuhu Tatropayam Akalpayat. Seeing Lord Shiva, Vilokya Bhagna Sankalpam, when his Sankalpa was Bhagna, when his uh, when his what do you call resolutions were actually when his endeavors were actually made futile, Lord Shiva was very much aggrieved and disappointed. So he sought shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Uh, uh, he considered how to stop this nuisance created by Lord Brahma. Sorry, the Supreme Personality of Godhead considered how to stop this nuisance created by Mayadana. वत्सश्चासीत् तदा ब्रह्मा स्वयं विष्णुरयं हि गौः प्रविश्य त्रिपुरं काले रसकोपामृतं पपौ. Then Vatsascha asit tad Brahma. Brahma became the calf. Swayam Vishnur ayam hi gauhu. He himself became a cow. And Pravishya, he entered the residences and he drank all the nectars in the well. Te surahi api pasyanto na nyasedham vimohitaha tadvijnaya Mahayogi Rasapalan idam jagau Smayan Visoka Sokartan Maran Daiva Jatim Satam. So the demons could see the cow and the calf, but because of the illusion created by the Supreme Lord, the demons could not forbid them. They were seeing that the cow and the calf were drinking the nectar, but they couldn't stop them. So the great mystic Mayadana became aware that the cow and the calf were drinking the nectar. He could understand that to be the power of unseen providence. How much our plans we make for making comfortable our situation in this material world, Krishna has some other plan. Thus he spoke to the demons who were grievously lamenting. Devasura naronyo va neswarostiha kaschana atmanonyasya vadishtam daivenopahitam gayoho. He said, Mayadana said, what has been destined by the Supreme Lord for oneself, for others, or for both oneself and others cannot be undone anywhere or by anyone. Whether one be a demigod, a demon, a human being, or anyone else. Daivena upahitam. If that is actually told by Daiva, one cannot do anything. Adhaso Shakti Viswabhi Shambho Pradhanikam Yathat Dharma Jnana Viraktiruddhi Tapo Vidya Kriyadibihi Pratham Sotam Dvajam Vahan Dhanur Varma Sharadiyat Sannadho Radhamasthaya Charam Dhanur Upadade. Then Lord Krishna, by his own internal potency consisting of religion, knowledge, renunciation, opulence, austerity, education, and activities, equipped Lord Shiva with all the necessary paraphernalia such as chariot, charioteer, flag, horses, elephants, bow, shield, and arrows. When Lord Shiva was fully equipped in this way, he sat down on the chariot with the arrows and the bow, ready to fight with the demons. Charam dhanushi sandhaya muhurte jidishwaraha muhurte abhijitishwaraha tadahatena durbhedya harotha tripuro nrupa. So the most powerful Lord Shiva joined the arrows to his bow, and at noon Abhijit Iswara, Muhurte Abhijit. Actually, the Abhijit Muhurta comes at noon. That's why it is told by as noon here. He set fire to all the three residences of the demons, and thus Tripura Haro, Durbedya, Dadaha. He set fire to the three residences of Mayadanava with his arrows and destroyed them. Dividundvayo nedur vimana shata sankulaha Devarshi Pitru Siddhesha Jayeti Kusuma Karaihi Avakiran Jagur Shrishta Nandutur Chapsaro Ganaha. So the celebrations began now. Seated in the airplanes in the sky, the inhabitants of the higher planetary systems, they began to beat kettle drums, Dundubayo, Dundubi and Nedu. So that the demigod saints, Pitas, Deva, Rishi, Pita, Siddhas, and various great personalities, they hailed Jai, they showered flowers on the head of Lord Shiva, wishing him all victory. And the Apsarasas began to chant and dance with great pleasure. Now, Lord Shiva is Vaishnavanam Yatha Simbhu. He is uh, the topmost and the foremost of all the devotees of Lord Vishnu. So the Lord is very much there to protect his devotees always. Even without Lord Shiva asking for to rescue, the Krishna has devised a mean how to save the reputation of Lord Shiva. So because the Lord is always concerned about his devotees. So the Lord has done the business of drinking the nectar here, and he gave the credit to Lord Shiva. So similarly, he also said to Arjuna that you fight here and you take the credit. If you don't fight also, otherwise these people are not going to be saved anyway. So you have already seen in the Vishwarupa, they are already died. So now, Uttishta Yasho Labhasva. So get up and fight and take the credit and the fame. So the Lord is always ready to give fame to his devotees. Evam Dagdva Purastisro Bhagavan Purahan Rupa Brahmadeve Stuyamanaha Samdhama Pratyapadyata. Thus Lord Shiva, known as Tripurari, the annihilator of the three dwellings of the demons, because he burnt the three dwellings to ashes. Tripurari. So he was called Tripurari because he actually destroyed the three cities. He got the name Tripurari. So being worshipped by the personality, by the demigods headed by Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva returned to his own abode. एवं विधान्यस्य हरे स्वमायया विडम्बमानस्य नृलोकमात्मनः वीर्याणि गीतानि ऋषिभिर्जगद्गुरोर् लोकं पुनान्यपरं वदामि किम्. So Swamaya, by his own internal potency, the Lord appeared as a human being. Vidambamanasya, that is actually illusioning. He performed many uncommon and wonderful pastimes by his own potency. By his own internal potency, Swamaya. How can I say more about his activities than what had already been said by the great persons? Viryani Gitane Rishibhi Jagat Guru. So it has already been described by the great personalities. Everyone can be purified by his activities simply by hearing about them from the right source. Badami Kim, how can I describe again? So I cannot much describe about the Supreme Personality of Godhead's uncommon activities, which were all created by his own internal potency. How can I describe them properly? So with this, we end the narration of the Prahlad Maharaj's protection by the Supreme Lord in the form of Lord Nrsingadeva. And I want to admit and confess here that I was probably not able to do so much justice, and I feel personally that I could have done better than what I am doing. However, I am very grateful for the organizers for giving me this opportunity to read and hear Srimad Bhagavatam and then glorify, which is the perfection of the mouth, the ear, and the the tongue and the ear. So, and my intelligence to think about those aspects to actually ascertain, assimilate those things. And it is a perfect engagement for my mind. So I am very grateful for this opportunity. And then I would like to beg forgiveness if I would have spoken something which is not uh, up to my realization or beyond my realization. Please understand that I am also a seeker of Bhagavatam, doing the service of a speaker. At this point of time, if anyone has any questions, you could answer.
Please unmute yourself, Mataji.
Hare
I think you have
Krishna.
gone on
Hare
mute
Krishna,
again. Yes.
Prabhuji. Sorry, Prabhuji. I had doubt. Can we also have the prema which or the love which Prahlad Maharaj is having?
We can have like that, but not as it is. Because every devotee has a unique relationship with the Lord. So you can attain to that level of exalted position, but you cannot become that position.
Prabhuji, I was asking that I might have asked this the second time, but yet I want to ask, is going back to Godhead and liberation the same thing?
Liberation to?
Is going back to Godhead, that is Goloka, and getting liberation, is the thing same?
See, actually, liberation, the word is little difficult to understand in the sense that when you say liberation, that means we are trying to get out of material suffering. That is one meaning. And another meaning is to actually attain the like the association of the Lord. So there are 5 kinds of liberation, which are called Sayujya, which is actually becoming one in the Brahman, merging into the Brahman, and Salokya, residing in the same planet of the Supreme Lord. Sami and Sarshti means getting the same opulences of the Supreme Lord, and Sarupya and the similar bodily features of the Lord, and Samipya means residing near to the Lord. So all these 5 kinds of liberation are very great. Actually, first of all, we will be delivered from material bondage. Secondly, so these are actually attainable by extreme meritorious deeds in devotional service. However, a true devotee will not aspire for these liberations. So he is always happy to serve the Supreme Lord. So in that sense, liberation and attaining the Lord's service are in one sense different. Does that answer your question?
But Prabhuji, you said no that one of the liberation that residing with the Supreme Lord is also one kind of liberation. Then this would be also called as liberation only.
Yes, but the idea behind that is if one is wanting to get those things no, residing near to the Lord, so there is an aspect of selfishness in that also. So that although that is actually better than having material desires, the pure devotees, they actually do not aspire for that even. Whoever and wherever they are wanting to only serve the Supreme Lord. That is their business, whether it will be hell or in heaven, everywhere, or in the Goloka, they want to be engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord. This is actually told by Kapila Muni in instructions to Devahuti. Salukya Samipya Sarsti Sarupya Aikatvam Apyuta Diyamanam Nagruhnanti. So although the devotees are offered these things, these 5 points of liberation, they do not take that. Why? Because they are actually satisfied in service to the Supreme Lord. So residing in the same planet along with the Lord to serve the Supreme Lord with that intent, if that is there, that is okay. But if you are wanting to attain that liberation for any iota of self-satisfaction, that is also not recommended. That is not actually not taken by the pure devotees of the Supreme Lord. So the point I am trying to make is the difference between the pure devotional service and something mixed.
Okay, but Prabhuji, it's one more question that even devotees feel separation from the Lord, no? So does that mean they want to reside with Lord? That means that they also want to get liberated? No, right?
No.
Can you please explain this little bit?
See, the devotee very much wants to be with the Lord. That's true. Because the Brajavasis, they were actually, when Lord Krishna left at age of 11 to Mathura, whole life they were actually crying. They did not even for a moment forget the Lord. So, but whenever Krishna wanted to go to Vrindavana, the residents of Mathura and Dwarka, they felt unhappy that they were leaving sight of the Lord. Even when the Lord goes to Kurukshetra, Hastinapura, all these places, the residents of Dwarka were very much perturbed in the separation from the Supreme Lord. So this is a natural emotion of being despondent in the separation from the Supreme Lord. But the separation itself is actually a feeling of unalloyed love towards the Supreme Lord. There is no tinge of personal happiness there.
Okay,
Oh, I want to
but
add
in
something.
this mukti, personal happiness is present. That is the difference, no, Prabhuji?
Yes, in this mukti, there can be an element of personal happiness. So basically, the point which we are trying to drive here is the liberation doesn't matter, service matters.
So, Prabhuji, that residing with the Lord and without personal happiness, is that also devotion?
When you are residing with the Lord, personal happiness is guaranteed. Just as
No, not like I am asking that if we are not hankering for happiness, but liberation, that is residing with the Lord, then is it devotion or is it and is it different from liberation?
It is different from liberation, Mataji. See, liberation can be called as a subset when you are, suppose for example, you are residing with the Lord. Okay, so that is the state of what someone who is liberated, right? Only liberated people can associate with the Lord, right? In his personal abode.
Yes.
But the devotee is not aspiring for it. It becomes as a secondary result of what actually they are looking for.
Yes, yes. Okay, Prabhuji. Actually, I have one more question. If it is also mentioned that if we worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we need not follow the rituals and all that are mentioned in the Vedas. So, does that mean we must also stop it and simply worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead?
Yajna dana tapak karma na tyajyam. So the acts of yajna, dana and tapa should not be given up at any point of time. Krishna says that in the Bhagavad Gita. What is actually told of is, see, there are two kinds of devotees. There are sadhaka bhaktas and there are siddha bhaktas. So for a siddha bhakta, he does not need to follow rules and regulations. he actually is in connection with the transcendence of the Supreme Lord, like the 6 Goswamis, right? So it doesn't matter whether they do sadhana or not, because they are already absorbed in the Supreme Lord. Now, talking about sadhaka bhaktas, he is yet to get purified completely. So in that state, one has to execute those activities which are actually conducive for his devotional service. So the acts conducive to the devotional service are those acts which are bringing him to the platform of sattva. So those activities which are enjoined in the Vedic injunctions, which will bring him to the point of sattva guna, are actually recommended for the person. So not doing those activities will not actually serve a better purpose for him. So when it is said that you need not do the activities, other activities, the idea is that you take shelter of the Supreme Lord. Suppose, for example, we are getting up in the morning every day and we are attending Mangalarati. Okay. So is that not an austerity? It is an austerity, but directed with proper knowledge and in connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? Are we doing some vrata? Today is Ekadashi. We will follow Ekadashi vrata. With what intent? We will follow that as an offering to the Supreme Lord. We will offer the results of our vrata to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For what? To get advance in devotional service. So we will do charity. We will sponsor the feast in the temple, right? For pleasing the devotees, right? So all these activities are recommended and has to be executed unless one actually becomes perfect and pure. So there is no second go of not doing those activities.
Oh, pure devotees need not do, right?
They need not do. They need not do. They are beyond the rules and regulations. Nirgrandha. Atmaramasya manayo nirgandha api. One who is beyond rules, they are not bound to act according to the injunction on this world. However, we see in the acts of the great devotees also, like Goswamis, they never transgress the worldly rules. Even the Supreme Lord follows his rules. The 10th canto is full of descriptions of Lord's daily activities. The Lord did yajna, the Lord did meditation, the Lord gave charity to the Brahmanas. The Supreme Personality of Godhead himself is emulating the behavior of a proper person.
Okay. Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Nagaraj Prabhu, we can take your question.
Oh, I want to add one
yes.
thing to Mataji's question. Mataji, the best way to associate with the Supreme Lord or to associate with any personality, with the spiritual master, is to always be engaged in serving that personality. So this is the best way that you are asking about having personal association of the Lord. The best way to always perceive the personal association of the Lord is by serving, by pleasing the Lord. So if we see many great personalities, only through their intense devotional service, they actually perceived the Supreme Lord every moment. If you see Srila Prabhupada also, he had associated personally with his spiritual master very less compared to many of the other disciples of his spiritual master. But the way he rendered service and the way he created a revolution, it is because of his intense service actually. That is the reason he could perceive the Supreme Lord and his spiritual master everywhere. So the best thing and the best answer is to always be engaged in service. Service is the means and service is the goal, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Nagaraj Prabhu's the question. He wanted to, Prabhu, can you ask?
No, Prabhu, you can continue, Prabhu. You are better than me.
No. See, Nagaraj Prabhu wanted to understand the significance of why a lotus is always described in Srimad Bhagavatam and in many places. We say the Lord's lotus feet, and you see, we say the Lord's lotus mouth. What is the significance of this lotus flower actually? Even in Prahlad Maharaj sections, we have seen many times the reference to the flower lotus.
Because that is the closest possible description in this world to describe the beauty of the Supreme Lord or anything beautiful.
Okay, Prabhu. For us,
See, in this context only I was having doubt, but some
Mataji,
people.
Mataji, sorry to interrupt you. Let him continue. I will come to you after.
Okay, Prabhuji.
so Prabhu, as a devotee, if I see I have 3 years son, I always think when he describe him as Krishna himself, because when I see he is like looking beautiful, I see he is like Krishna. But why we are comparing Krishna to lotus? So what is that? If I understood that the significance of lotus, I may betterly understood the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's my thinking like that. If I am right or wrong, is
Yeah, you can describe the, actually it is not that people are not ascribed to Krishna to compare something beautiful. Krishna, the word itself is meaning that it is all attractive. So Krishna himself is more attractive. However, when we are describing the Krishna's features to the lotus, because we are to, there is a metaphor, there is a reason, we have to compare something with something to, to describe that, right? So as
yes,
a
Prabhu.
comparison, we are using that. That is my
Okay.
understanding.
Okay.
Prabhuji,
Hmm.
can I ask now?
Yeah.
Prabhuji, I wanted to ask, just now you are saying now that it's our perception that we feel lotus the most beautiful. But everyone in this
It's not a
material
feel
world,
or not, whether we feel it or not. If you ask another species of life, it may not feel the lotus to be more beautiful. Actually, it stands for what it is. Yeah.
but Prabhuji, there are actually some people do not feel lotus as the most beautiful.
That's why I said.
Some might feel rose or something whatsoever. So how? So can if someone is liking the rose rather than lotus, can they say rose feet, rose eyes, rose lips?
Yeah. You can do that. The intention is to connected. Yena kena prakarena mana Krishna niveshayat. If you like rose, you can say rose Krishna.
But Prabhuji, why lotus? Actually, we see everywhere, not that in one place they are using it. But why is it that the author is liking lotus so much?
Not only the author, the many authors like it. So in the Vedic world, the closest description for anything beautiful in this world and in the transcendental world is also lotus. So how we have to have an experiential learning. Sometimes intelligence doesn't work. You have to go to the spiritual world to actually experience it. And in this material world also there are such lotuses which may not be available to this day. So we may have to see that beauty to understand. That much I can say.
Okay. Okay, Prabhuji. Thank
Also,
you.
universe began with the lotus, right, Prabhu?
Correct. All these things are there, but how? Their question is like, how do we understand that it is the beautiful thing? So that has to do something with the experience.
Prabhuji, even one more.
Shamsundar Prabhu, I am
Uh-huh.
just recollecting one context which Srila Prabhupada said. One devotee was asking about many things about how is it in spiritual world, how is it? Then Prabhupada said, yes, you please follow this and you go there and you will yourself know everything.
You
Is
find
it
out.
something like that?
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji. I was seeing even lotus flower. Not only that, it is because of our perspective that it is beautiful. So we compare it with Lord, but we also see that all the demigods and even Lord Vishnu himself is catching lotus flower.
Yes.
But in spiritual world, there might be something more beautiful than lotus, no? Because we are saying
No.
that in material world we are having nothing more beautiful than lotus, but in spiritual world we are having more beautiful things. Then why lotus?
In the spiritual world, Tulsi is considered to be the most beautiful. What is that verse in which
Yes,
comes in
yes,
Lord?
Prabhuji, but then Lord does not catch tulsi or something. He catches lotus flower only.
I am coming to that. I am coming to that. What is that verse, Prabhuji? Kranti Prabhu, can you remember that verse? Mandara kunda korabot palachampa punnaga naga bakulandu parijata gan. What is the third line? Gandhe chita jalasika bharanena tasya yasmin tapas manaso bahumanayanti. So it said that Mandara Kunda Koraba Utpala Champaka Arna. So these are all the flowers in the spiritual world. When the demigods went to the spiritual world, they saw all these flowers there. Mandara, Kunda, Koraba, Utpala, Champaka, Arna, Punnaga, Naga, Bakula, Ambuja, lotus flower, Parijata flower. But when they say, and they are having extremely beautiful, nice fragrances. But when all these flowers, they saw that Gandhe Archite Tulasika Bharanena Tasya, when they saw that Tulasi was at the lotus feet of the Lord, Tulasika Abharana, when the Lord is wearing those the garland of Tulasi, Gandhe Chita Tulasika Abharanena Tasya, Yasmin Tapassu Manaso Bahumanayanti. So they considered that the austerities rendered by Tulasi to get to that position at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord in the association, they respected that. And they considered her to be the highest. What is the beauty of a leaf in front of a flower? Nothing. But the most important ingredient is not the aroma there. The highest important ingredient is the attitude. It is the attitude of devotion. It is the element of devotion. So that is the understanding.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you so
I
much.
don't know, means whether I have answered. Some questions do not have answers which can satisfy the intellect. They have to be actually experienced.
Yes,
That you will
Prabhuji.
experience when you go to the spiritual world.
Prabhuji, can I tell something?
Yeah.
Actually, I feel that lotus flower, even if it is in a muddy and gushy water also, it
Yeah.
blooms very nicely.
Yeah,
And
that's
that is why we compare it we should be like God is like that and very
that
beautiful
is
even
one
in
understanding. That is one understanding. This material world is considered to be a very muddy place, and the lotus is actually very beautiful. Yes, that is one understanding. However, we cannot say that is the only understanding.
also Brahma sits on the lotus flower, no Prabhuji?
That and all is there.
And Prabhuji, Sushant Prabhuji was telling something about liberation. He wanted to add something.
And
I
Sushant,
didn't say about liberation, Mataji. I
No,
said the
previous
best way.
question. Previous question, Nisarga
Yes,
asked,
yes.
no, Prabhuji. You were
I
telling
said the best way to always associate with a personality is by serving that personality. Whether we are in physical association or not is secondary. The best way you can always be associated with a personality is by service.
Yes,
I just added to what Shyamsundar Prabhu said, Mataji.
thank you.
you have any question, Mataji, on that?
Prabhuji, it's actually, I have one last question.
Yeah.
It is related to Vaishnava Aprad. We see so many stories about Vaishnava Aprad in Bhagavatam. So I was having, will the effect of that Vaishnava Aprad continue life after life, or will it end in that life?
It can. It can continue.
If someone is doing devotional service, that means his devotional service is completely gone, will that not be there again?
It's not, it's completely gone. Whatever credits you have accrued are there, but it is like a mad elephant offense. It will destroy the whole garden. Definitely, yeah, it will root out. Means it can actually create so much chaos. But Lord is very merciful. He will give us opportunity again and again. So better to be actually safe than sorry.
Prabhu, Shamsundar Prabhu,
Yes, Prabhu.
His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj gives a very beautiful explanation to this.
Yeah.
What happens when we commit a Vaishnava aparadha actually?
Hmm.
See, Krishna, on one hand, he promises, Neha Vikramanashosti Pratyavayo na vidyate Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat in Bhagavad Gita, right? So that means whatever devotion one has performed, that will not go in vain. That is the meaning of that verse. And when one commits a Vaishnava aparadha, then it is found that he is actually not engaged anymore in devotional service. So Maharaj gives a very nice explanation. He says that what actually happens is, it is like a person who has a lot of money, but he has forgot where he has kept that money. So when he has a lot of money, but he has forgotten where he has kept that money. So it is as good as not having money. On one side he has, on one side he doesn't have. But when he understands and when he rectifies himself, then immediately he again has access to that money. You are able to understand, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So the advancement is not stopped actually. I mean, but what happens is he loses access to that credits due to devotional service. But when he rectifies himself and puts himself back in the right path, again he is able to access all the credits. It is not annihilated actually. Devotional credits are never annihilated, by the way.
Because Prabhuji in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also mentions, no, he is well-wisher of all the living entities. He does not mention that he is not a well-wisher of Vaishnava Aparadhi, or he is not well-wisher of this person or that person.
Krishna definitely cannot tolerate offense to a devotee.
But if one does not do it willingly, so what happens?
If one does it, unintentional offenses, that is all right actually. But one must be trained, Mataji. One must be trained in order to, when we are trained now, we will be able to identify even our unintentional offenses and we immediately beg forgiveness from that person. And the other person also will understand. If he is trained, he will understand it before you ask also. If he is not very much trained, if you very humbly go and apologize to him, he will become, I mean, he will understand that you did it unintentionally. Unintentional offenses are all right. Intentional offenses is what we are talking about here. But even unintentional offenses, one must be very, very careful, particularly offense to the Vaishnavas. There is a song sung by our great Acharya, Srila Narottam Das Thakur. He says there, Haristhane aparade tare harinam, Tamasthane aparade nahi paritran. You know, there is in the Vaishnava songs book, there is a song. So the offense towards Lord also Lord tolerates, but he does not tolerate an offense towards the Vaishnava. Offense actually means intentional offense only. That which is committed out of a sense of envy towards the other person. Such offenses are to bring down that person. Such offenses are not tolerated. Unintentional offenses is not a very big problem, but still we have to be careful with unintentional offenses also.
Okay, Prabhuji. Actually, Prabhuji, I have a request. After this Narsimha Nirajanam program, you can please organize about a series on this Vaishnava Aparadha, because you said no, we should get trained on this.
Yes,
We should be careful.
Yes,
So,
Mataji.
before
So
we
actually,
devotion-
yesterday only we were discussing, probably I didn't even discuss with Shamsundar Prabhu and Kranti Prabhu. We are planning to have Upadeshamrita discussion after this. Just yesterday only Shamsundar Prabhu, Kranti Prabhu, Madhav Prabhu spoke to me. We will discuss it offline, okay? And we will get back to you, Mataji. we are planning to discuss this very important topic called Upadeshamrita or Nectar of Instruction. It is a small book. It consists of 12 verses. We will be discussing only 9 verses from that before we go to the next canto, because those verses ensure that we are actually trained properly to understand higher subject matter. And those verses we can apply in our day-to-day life.
It consists of Vaishnava Prad also, Prabhuji?
Yes. How one must conduct with different classes of devotees, how one must conduct with, an Uttamadhikari, how one must conduct himself with a Madhyamadhikari, who is an Uttamadhikari, who is a Madhyamadhikari, everything is there in that.
Okay, Prabhuji.
We will be continuing with that. We will keep you posted. It is not yet official, but there was just a discussion.
Yes,
Because
Prabhuji.
you have asked this question, I had told in this form. Today I wanted to discuss once with the other team also, even they also know it now only. But because of your question, I answered this to give you assurance that we are going to have this in a continued way, definitely.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. We know that we should be trained
Yes,
in that
yes.
before we enter the devotional service, so that we may not face any loss in future.
Yes, Mataji, this is the greatest fear which all of us must have. The only fear we must have is that we forget Krishna or we forget devotional service.
Yes, Prabhuji.
This
Thank
is the
you.
only fear we should have. May I never forget Krishna. May I never, be deprived of devotional service to the Supreme Lord.
Yes,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhuji. Sorry, I
Thank
guess
you for
it's
your.
very late. But I have one question that is just following Nisarga Mataji's question. I wanted to ask, I heard that if we do Vaishnava Aparadha, then we will fall down. And the only remedy is to just go and catch the feet of that Vaishnava who we offended. But in that case, probably we do not know how many, we may be thinking that we are joking, but if that other Vaishnava takes it as an offense, we do not know that we offended it, and we start realizing that we are not doing with more intense service to Lord. Then how do we know? How can we understand that I offended him? I offended that Vaishnavi or Vaishnava.
When this stuff we have that, we
Firstly,
sometimes don't even realize also that we have done it or not.
correct. That's why, Mataji, we should be trained actually. We should be trained. When we are trained, no, we will automatically understand what is correct and what is wrong. And on top of it, when we are sticking to this process of everyday Shravanam and Kirtanam, that is chanting the Lord's names and hearing about the Lord, plus training, what happens is Krishna gives us the necessary intelligence. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam. That bhajatam means Shravanam and Kirtanam. Dadami buddhi yogantam. So this buddhi or this intelligence, Krishna will be giving us actually to understand what is. So automatically we will understand. Paramatma will tell us that probably this should not have been done by you. So please go and rectify. And catching the feet of the Vaishnava, the more importantly, one must feel remorseful. One must really feel bad, and one must really have this intention to rectify oneself. Just a formality will not be sufficient. One must be very careful to avoid it in future if it has been committed either intentionally or in some anger or something. By that, what happens is our heart becomes freed of that heaviness and it becomes very light. I don't know whether I understood your question properly, but I'm just telling what.
So one more mention, no, that in Chaitanya Bhagavat, Madhya Leela, if we read it, if we recite it, then our Vaishnava Aparadha is nullified.
No, Mataji. First thing is we have to read Nectar of Instruction.
Yes.
Yeah. We will read that also. Chaitanya Bhagavat, that is told, and many places many things are told, but the very preliminary book for all of us is Nectar of Instruction, which we are going to cover very soon after this series probably.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you.
That is the very prerequisite book. Before we begin the next topic for 10 days or so.
Actually, Prabhuji, it can help persons who do not even know that they have committed, no?
Which?
Chaitanya Bhagavat Madhya Leela. It states that anyone who hears their Vaishnava Aparadha is nullified.
Yes, Mataji. In fact, every scripture, every canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, see here also it is told, we just saw in today's discussion also, that just by hearing this, one becomes freed from all material desires, right? And one achieves the highest perfection. So every canto is important, but most importantly, in the beginning stage for all of us, this nectar of instruction, these 4 or 5 books are very important. We are going to discuss those books also.
Okay. Thank you so much,
Because
Prabhu.
they lay a foundation actually, which our acharyas have prescribed particularly for this age, our contemporary
And it is
acharyas.
also said, na Prabhuji, in this Kali Yuga, the aparad done in the mind is not considered because our mind is influenced by Kali.
Yes. That is a special concession, because in Kali Yuga, the souls are so degraded that this mental offense is not, if that were to be taken seriously, then that is actually the mercy of the Supreme Lord. But when we have to, just because it is the mercy of the Supreme Lord, one should not be.
If
No, let me finish. Yes, in Kali Yuga, mental offenses are not considered actually. That is correct. But it is actually the special mercy of the Lord towards the souls in Kali Yuga. But please understand that if you actually bear offense in the mind, gradually it is going to come to the level of offense by words or by action also. If it is in the mind, it is going to somehow come. So you have to remove it at the mental level itself as soon as you get it. One has to be trained for that. See, the Lord is so extremely merciful that even persons like Shishupal and Hiranyakashipu, for example, Shishupal, you take, we have been discussing recently, they also got delivered, right? Although they were very offensive, they got delivered. So that is the mercy of the Lord. But that doesn't mean that we should think of Lord in an offensive way, right? Or we should think of Lord in an inimical way. We have to think of Lord in a with anukulyata, right? We have discussed in the first section of the topics. Anukulyata and tivrata, those 3-4 principles we had discussed, right? So just because offense at the mental level is not considered, it doesn't mean we can offend at mental level.
Actually, Prabhuji, it's not that we do it intentionally.
Yes.
What happens is our mind is so tricky that what it does when it finds that, yes, if I am doing aparadha in mind, nothing will happen. What it does is it will force us to do that. Yes,
I will tell you one small example, very practical example. Okay. Yes, what you are telling is right. I understand. Because our mind is so uncontrolled, we are bound to commit mental offenses. One small example I will give you. If there is a bird, okay, a bird is flying over your head. You cannot prevent a bird from flying over your head, right? Can you do anything if it just flies over your head?
No.
You can prevent it from sitting on your head and making a nest and laying eggs there and hatching those eggs, right?
Yes.
Similarly, if some mental offenses happen against other devotees, it is just like a bird which is flying over your head. You cannot do anything. But whether you want that bird to sit on your head and, build a nest and do further activities, that free will is there for you, right? Can you prevent that or not?
Yes, that
you either drive away that bird or you go away from that.
Chastise the mind, that's it. Nothing.
Exactly. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur actually says how one must train to control the mind. Every morning, he says, you beat the mind, you hit the mind 10 times with one instrument. And in the night, before going to bed also, hit the mind 10 times with another instrument. Those 2 instruments are, one is, okay, probably we can discuss that offline. Okay. It is a very, very strong example.
Prabhuji, please discuss this, okay? In one of the class, please, Prabhuji.
Sure. We will discuss that. Okay. Anyway, thank you for bringing this out. We are going to have this nectar of instruction discussion very soon.
Thank you so much,
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, when it will be considered as a Vaishnava aparadha? when whether it is being done willingly or unwillingly to hurt one Vaishnava, or when a Vaishnava is feeling hurt or feeling insulted, at that point it will be considered as
Exactly,
Vaishnava Aparadha.
exactly. If it hurts the other Vaishnava, then it is considered Vaishnava Aparadha. And similarly,
Again,
yes,
yeah.
yes, if it hurts the other Vaishnava. See, sometimes by mistake, you know, we put our feet on somebody, right? By mistake, we stamp someone
Yes,
or
yes,
something, right? That
yes,
is not a very big offense because immediately we apologize. That is gone. But
yes,
if it is done out of an envy and if it hurts the other Vaishnava, then it is considered an offense. We should be very careful, extremely
okay,
careful.
Prabhu.
This is something
Okay,
which the
Prabhuji,
Lord never
then
tolerates.
okay. Then again, Prabhuji, it is being told that when something bad happens, like insult or anyone hurts you or anything
Yes,
as such happens, then it should be taken as as our own purification process. It
yes.
is also being told, no? So
It is
these
told, it
statements
needs
are
practice.
contradictory. No?
It needs practice, Mataji. It is told, yes,
Yeah,
that is
but
the highest standard. One must know that whatever bad which I am receiving, it's actually because of my own activities, you know, previously, maybe in the last birth, maybe in this birth, or whatever it may be. We don't know the details, but one should know that the result of one's own bad activities is coming, but it cannot happen overnight. One must train oneself.
okay, again,
This
it is
concept will not work. You know, we have to train. One has to undergo proper and regular training.
okay. So even I mean, normal, the pure Vaishnavas or the gurus or I mean the senior devotees and all,
Yes,
they are being told, and they are uh, I mean up above all these feelings, no, whether someone insults or someone hurts or anything, they will not consider. So they are so exalted devotees and all. So in
yes.
that case, I mean. I mean, in that case, it will be a Vaishnava Aparadh, or
Yes,
the
even that will be a
practicing
Vaishnava Aparadha
devotees.
because if you are doing it out of envy, also it is a Vaishnava Aparadha.
Okay, then when we are practicing in case of a practicing devotee, they have all these material conditions. They will
Yes,
feel insulted, they will feel
yes,
angry.
yes,
They are not purified. So
yes,
when they himself, I mean, they are himself not purified, then also it will be a Vaishnava Aparadh only.
yes, yes. It will be a Vaishnava Aparadha. Just because somebody is not very pure, so it doesn't mean you can do. See, we are doing all these things to save ourselves first. First, we have to save ourselves. Let him not be pure. That is not my job. Everybody is sincere to some extent or the other, right?
Yeah.
So better we don't offend anyone. That is the best thing to do. Not about to see whether how much pure he is or how much he is not pure. No, better we don't offend anyone, even non-devotees.
Yeah, Prabhu.
Yes, one has to
What
practice this
I'm
because
trying
we
to
don't know
tell
who
is,
is this non. See, I think last week our Kranti Prabhu, he shared a very beautiful picture. One very elevated soul. He was doing a very small service when he was very young, right? Today he is one of the most prominent spiritual masters who is actually the forefront of one of the leading spiritual masters in the society, who is actually inspiring thousands and thousands of people. So that is the thing. We have to be very careful, whoever one is. We should not estimate this person is not so advanced. So if I commit offense against him, it's okay. Anyway, he is
no,
going
no,
to take
no,
whatever.
no, no.
We have to be very careful in our dealings with everyone.
Yes, Prabhuji. No, I'm not saying in that intent. My
Mm.
intention is when one devotee is having all these material conditions, anger and ego issues, whatever is there. So
Mm.
a result to that only if we are replying or something, or any such thing, such conversation happens or any argument such happens. So in that case, what is it a Vaishnava Aparadh?
Mataji,
Because the
Vaishnava
fault
Aparadh, two
is
things are there. Two things are there in Vaishnava Aparadh always. First thing is
okay.
whether the other person is getting hurt. My intention may be right, but the other person is getting hurt. Still, it will be counted under Aparadh. Secondly, my intention is right. Sorry, my intention is wrong. And probably the other person is not so much hurt. We should be very careful about both these things.
okay, when our intention is not wrong, but the other person is having, I mean, they are hurting us. So as a result to that, we just, I mean, we are not hurting them. We are just stating that, yes, this one I am not liking, and this is my boundary,
Yes.
I cannot tolerate out of that one. So
Yes.
will that also be a Vaishnava Prasad?
No, telling it in a very polite way should not be an aparad, but this is a very, looks like this is a very specific question, Mataji. So I would request you to get it addressed from someone personally. They will be able to advise you better on this. I'm just telling the principle here, that's all.
Yeah, okay, Prabhu.
That's a good question,
Yeah.
but the proper forum would be to get this addressed on a personal basis.
Yes.
Okay,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, sure.
Aparad only one aspect is envying the Vaishnavas, no? But envy that occurs because of mind. Is that also aparad?
Yes, Mataji, we should train ourselves not to commit mental aparad also. Although mental aparad, if we commit, we are bound to commit it anyway, but one must train oneself not to commit offense at the mental level also. That is the sankalpa, or that is the vow one must take necessarily.
And Prabhuji, it is said no that in the beginning when we start our devotional service, we
Yes.
actually have the pseudo devotion. What it is called, that we think as devotees, like we feel happy like devotees.
Yes.
Think,
Yes.
but that is not the real happiness.
Oh, why not? Why not? Who said that?
No. Actually, Prabhuji,
You are getting some happiness out of performing devotional service. How can you say that it's not real happiness?
no, not devotional service, but that it is called a so-called pseudo devotion. Perform, but that is not the complete happiness, or what it is called.
I didn't understand your question actually.
Actually, Prabhuji, in the beginning.
Mataji, I think we are running out of time. Today it's been 7:35 already. So can we, if you don't mind, we definitely we will address this. Can we have it, discuss it separately?
Yes, sure, Prabhuji. Hare
Sure.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.